Wow, top tech CEOs lashed out against government snooping.
Releasing classified information is treason.
And then what happens?
Generally lands you, incarcerated.
The government's comment was, oh, don't worry, basically we're not spying on any Americans. Right, and it's like, oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's like that's really helpful to companies who are trying to serve people around the world.
Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg both complaining, but privacy advocate Gina Loudon says they should actually look in the mirror because they're spying just as much as the government. Talk about deflection. Listen, I agree. I have a real problem, Gina, with the amount of information that these private organizations have gathered on us and what they do with it. So maybe we should be just as concerned about them.
Yeah, the poor fat cats aren't liking what they ate for lunch. Look, this is what happened, Charles. We all know that these folks are exactly the people who helped elect an administration who's doing absolutely nothing about the fact that the NSA is demanding such information and spying on us. And these are the same people who have repeatedly said, your information is going to be kept private. It isn't kept private. And now they're the ones complaining about it. This isn't making any sense. And I think, capitalist as we are, if you take a really hard look at this and ask one really tough question, instead of patting yourself on the back for the fact that you're suing over the private data that you've given away to the government, how about you sue to not have to give that private data away in the very first place? That makes perfect sense to me.
So in other words, they're trying to have it both ways, huh? Look heroic to the public, but really accommodative to the administration.
Right, and you have to go back to the beginning of the storybook, Charles. I heard the baby thing, and let's take that analogy. Go back to the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story is they worked to elect an administration who is ignoring all of the privacy invasions and the massive overreach of government and invasion into our private lives. And so to whine about it now, how does that work out? I mean, we're used to, fat cat types, feigning some sort of outrage. It's good PR. The question here, though, is will the low information voter be wise enough not to bite on this one?
I don't know. By calling them the low information voter, you might have answered that yourself. But, listen, are we going to give up Facebook? Are we going to stop searching on Yahoo? Are we going to stop using Google, even though a van might have just gone by a street and taken a photograph of our house? I mean, are we going to make those tough decisions?
Some people are, and that's the scary part, because the folks who are wise to this are going to be the ones the most likely to not use those things that are a great tool out there, especially in winning elections. So this is where, again, they put us over a barrel and really do nothing to help we the people that are actually padding their pockets quite nicely. It would be really nice, like I said, if they would, instead of suing to disclose what all they've had to disclose, if they would instead just simply sue to not have to disclose it at all.
Silicon Valley is starting to really put a lot of money into politics now for the first time, and Zuckerberg's got a big organization. And I'm not sure, I take it for granted that they're left-leaning. Certainly they've raised a lot of money for the president the last election cycle, but there's hints of some libertarian bents there, even conservative. Is it possible that any of these guys could be sincere and actually do some of the things you're talking about?
We can dream. But again, I think the proof is always in the pudding, Charles. When you're asking the hard questions like, why would you sue to be able to disclose what you had to disclose? How about suing to not have to disclose it at all? I think that tells a lot and concerns me. Of course, the next elections, both of the next elections, will disclose a lot to us about whether their walk is actually in line with their talk, as you're mentioning. And I think it would be great. I mean, it makes no sense to me, and never has made any sense to me, why someone, for example, would have a libertarian bent and not believe in the free market and the privacy that government should allow that free market.
Right. I got to tell you, the government and these listen, to a certain degree, we give them this information, but the idea that the way they use it scares the heck out of a whole lot of people, and people are conflicted. They would like to have choices so that maybe that they would have some privacy, but doesn't look like it right now. Gina, thanks a lot. Great points you brought up. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Charles.
Hey, when it comes to fixing immigration, the administration says that we're going to be all the better for it.